Great morning. Great Monday. I hope you all woke up grateful for your day. I hope that you've all reminded yourself of the things to be grateful for. I hope you guys have set a high vibe. I hope that, when you're seeing limits, you're getting creative. And I hope that when you're seeing obstacles, you're understanding it's an opportunity to grow. And I hope when you're seeing setbacks, hey, you realize it's time for redirection. So I've sent Wendell an invite, and I'm just waiting for him to refresh and hop on. I hope you guys had a super weekend. The end of the summer is nearing, so I hope you guys are getting the most out of each and every single day. All right? No matter what's happening around you. I hope you guys are putting yourself first. I hope that, you're getting through things that you thought maybe were impossible to get through. Okay? And I hope you're setting higher goals, and I hope that you're pushing past anything. I hope that you're not shackling yourself to negative emotions or reactions to things. I hope that you're responding to life because, hey, that's just the way it has to be sometimes. So, yeah, I just, I hope you guys are just feeling the effects of embracing your own greatness. Okay, so Wendell, I'm live. Are you going to hop on here this morning? So this morning, I want you guys to set a high vibe for your week. I want you guys to set some goals for yourselves that maybe, that maybe you seem like are out of reach. I'm just sending Wendell a message telling him I'm on live and to hop on. All right. So he's going to hop on. All right. So I wish you guys a great week. I hope you set a high vibe. And Wendell's going to hop on and we'll see what we're going to talk about this morning. Come on, Wendell. All right. Well, Wendell knows I'm live. If he doesn't hop on or is incapable of hopping on, I am going to come off. Oh, there he is. Let me get him on. Hey, great morning.
How are you? How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. You can hear me okay?
Yeah. I can hear you when you're closer up, but I find when you go back just a little, it's like I don't know. But it's okay. I can hear you right now. Did you have a
Okay.
good weekend?
Yeah, it was okay. It was good.
Saw some
Yeah.
family you said you were going to do?
Yeah, I went to see my cousin and my aunt, and it's funny because I was talking with my cousin last week, and he was telling me that his mom's like she seemed like a little offish kind of thing. So he went to check to see if like she did what is it called? Like those Alzheimer's tests.
Okay.
So yesterday was my mom's birthday. So
Oh, yeah. I
when
said happy birthday on your post.
yes, you did. Thank you very much for thanks everybody also for there was a lot of people that sent their wishes. So thanks for everybody who's watching who actually did, and those who didn't. It's all good. But so yeah, so when I went over to see my aunt, you know, she we were talking, and every time when we go, she always does like she repeats, right? So and I think that's part of the Alzheimer's thing, right? So she showed me all the pictures. Like she has this big table with all these pictures of members of the family when they were young and stuff. I guess it's like I think it's like a memory table. Like she just goes over to it and kind of looks at these pictures, and I guess it brings back memories and that kind of stuff, which is good. But so yesterday was my mom's birthday, which is her sister, right? So I went there and, and I said, did you call mom, And no, I don't have her number. And I was like, Auntie, of course you have her number. Like you guys talk. My mom tells me you guys talk. So I started processing that, ooh, like her memory is really, really bad. So anyway, but it's funny because then she'll talk about stuff that like, from when she first came to 'cause she came to Montreal when she was young, right? Like my mom came first and then she came after her. I think it was vice versa. I can't remember. Anyways, long story short. So we started talking and I was telling her because she was one of the mothers of one of my cousins that passed away, right? So, sometimes she'll just get into this zone where she, just starts blaming herself and, getting like not really emotional.
Unhealed trauma surfacing.
Exactly. Exactly. So, I'm trying to diffuse the bomb before it ignites, and I'm just telling her, Auntie, you know, she's still with us and this was a long time ago and it's not your fault and like just trying to, and then she just started going into, her ex-husband, and she just went off and my cousin, and I feel bad for my cousin because he's always there all the time. Like he's like my favorite cousin. He's an amazing guy. Every time she wants something, he's there. Like he really really takes care of his mom. Like he really loves his mom.
Is she
And
still living on her own?
she's living in. I thought it was a residence. I asked him yesterday because it seemed like a residence, but she lives in like an apartment complex. It looks like a residence, but it's not. But it's kind of like a condo thing, and she's there by herself. Yeah, but she has like a cat, and. So, anyways, so
Is the cat trained to call 911 for her?
no, no,
Okay.
and this is the thing too because when I first came out here, I told her I said Auntie, I said if ever you're like even on the weekend, like especially on the weekend, on the weekend like F is not available for you, like just give me a call and I'll drive down 3 hours. I don't care, I'll drive down 3 hours and spend some time with you in that, right?
Yeah, but if her memory's that bad, she's not even going to remember you telling her that.
But I mean, before she was okay, like I would call her on the phone and and it's funny because then when I was talking to my brother and my mom and I was telling her, like when I first came out here, I said, oh, I got to chill with Auntie Joan and you know, and then she's like, my mom, first thing she says is like, oh, like yeah, I don't know how you do it, it's hard talking to her sometimes because she just keeps repeating, 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 and I said, yeah, I understand that, like you know, So anyway, so the same thing with my brother. My brother, he's just kind of like busy all the time, right? So my brother doesn't really like. Even I hardly speak to my brother. Like I'll speak to my brother like twice a week if I'm lucky. Most of the time it's like once a week and I get it. He's a busy guy. So yeah, so it was just weird, like just going over there and then she started talking about her ex-husband, and I said, Auntie, I said, let it go, like that's old stuff, like I said, just concentrate on you, right now your health is not great, just concentrate on you, and she just kept going on and on to the point where she was like really like she's like, nobody knows what I'm going through. And I said, Auntie, I said, you're right. I said, I have no idea what you're going through. I said, but I'm here to help you go through it if you need it. And she was just she was just very, very emotional and she started talking like very like drastically about taking her life and stuff like that.
Well,
And I was
yeah,
like,
yeah, for sure. Listen, I'm going to let you know something. I worked as a nurse's aide, and I won't say the resident's name out here because I won't call them out.
that's
But
confident.
okay, but I worked in a locked unit for Alzheimer's patients. They get really violent because of this stuff.
Oh,
But
yes.
imagine how it. I know. Excuse me. I know personally with this stuff going on in my face. When you start losing your smell, you start losing your memory. And the doctors have told me, because of new research, that they want me to do olfactory training, smelling training, so that I don't end up with Alzheimer's. Okay.
Wow. I didn't know that.
So this stuff is serious.
Oh, it's serious. I know that.
Now, I look how frustrated it is for us when we can't remember where we've put something. Never mind who we are, the people that are in front of us, our whole life is totally in shambles because every memory we have, we're reliving it as if it's real.
Yeah.
So if your memory is gone, but you keep having these flashes of all
Mm-hmm.
different parts of your life that, like, we go on thinking, okay, well, that part's healed, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
buried under everything. But what
Mm-hmm.
she's going through is what's happening is all of this stuff keeps surfacing and she's not in control of it because her memory is throwing these things at her.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit scary. It makes you feel more than crazy because I've had serious problems with my memory since my car accident. And no joke, but that's why I'm always in the learning and I got to focus and I got to get my brain always feeding my brain, because if I don't, hey, that stuff it's very frustrating. I've watched patients literally get so violent with their family members in that unit. Why? Because they no longer know themselves.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's like I don't get what like where it comes from, you know? It's like, you know, certain things. So for example, it's like, I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything, right? Obviously, but like I find that with cancer or cancers of certain parts of your body, usually it's a part of the body that either you use the most or a part of the body that gets affected from other other parts of the body that you overexert, or you know what I mean? Or do you understand what I'm trying
Yeah,
to say?
yeah, I get it. I get it.
So it's like I want to believe that, you know, Alzheimer's is something that, you know, when somebody puts too much strain on their brain to not really remember some stuff, but to like concentrate. So the point I'm trying to say is like, for example, you know, people who have to take an intense training to do a job and then do that job like for a long time in their life. So my aunt, um, she was telling me, and I didn't really know this, but she told me
Okay,
that
Lulu, could you stop? Sorry.
when she came to Montreal the first time in like 1940 something, she was young, and she her first job in Montreal was with this company called Pinkies, and I'm like, what kind of, you know, the first thought I thought was, oh, okay, my aunt's into that kind of stuff, right? But really, there it's a nursing assistant, like it was like what do you call it? Like a nursing assistant job where they take care of patients and that kind of stuff, almost like a PAB in Montreal, right? So, and I asked her, I said, so why do they call it pinkies, you know? And she's like, oh, because they give you like this pink scrub, and then you'd have to buy white shoes and, you know, and a white hat. So I was like, okay. So it's like she can remember these things like from detail. And I remember studying a bit of Alzheimer's because again I did a little bit of PSW a little bit there. So when we were talking about taking care of the elderly, they did mention that when someone has Alzheimer's, they'll always remember to the T certain things from way back, and certain things from like maybe 2 or 3 days ago. It's just that space in between that's just like scattered, right? So I'm just like, okay. So then I realize now that okay, this is really serious, because if my cousin's telling me that she was tested for Alzheimer's, but they didn't get an answer back yet, and just the way that she acted yesterday with me was just kind of like that was my confirmation. Like I'm 110% that she does have it. I just don't know to what degree, because like there's a percentage or something that they have it so that you know how bad it is, right?
Well,
or no?
I highly suggest that you guys consider tracking her phone. Because if she goes out and she can't remember where she is, somebody needs to be able to locate her. There are
Yeah,
certain things that you guys need to be vigilant with now to protect her.
yeah. And it's funny because
Seriously.
no, I know, and it's funny because, like I said, as I was driving back, my cousin tells me he's like, "Oh, well, text me when you get in." So I texted him when I got back here, and then I told him, I said, cuz like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, normally I'm very strong with stuff, but like watching my aunt do that yesterday was very disturbing. And then he was like, yeah, he goes, now you understand what I'm going through, and it's not easy, and I go through this at least 3 times a week, and with work and my kids. And I said, cuz I totally understand. I said, like I told you, and I told you this many times. Anytime you need help, like family first, like I could be in the middle of a job or whatever, and you need me to come down to Edmonton, like I'll tell my boss, hey, I have a family emergency, I'm on my way. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, but you know what you guys need to do, honestly, is just maybe you need to support him in putting her in a facility, not a facility, somewhere where there is somebody there, not maybe necessarily living in her space, but somebody who, when she goes to walk out of the apartment building, they're going to make sure that she's in the right frame of mind before she walks out the door. Or there's medical transport picking her up, or there's somebody, because
somebody
when
with her.
somebody's on their own like that and suffering that and expressing how frustrated they are and how willing they are to take their life, you better listen to them.
Yeah. And my cousin, he's very protective, obviously, right? That's his mom, so he doesn't want just anybody going over there.
Okay, well, guess what? Anybody is better than nobody.
I get that, but again, my
I
cousin,
know. I
my
know. And it's
right?
very
So
touchy when it comes to family because you
when it's
understand also in her state of mind, you just can't have anybody with her.
yeah,
You
yeah,
see, because even in that opens up doors too where she is vulnerable.
of course, yeah.
So yeah, I get it. There's a lot, and you know what? I'm I'm sorry that you had to go through that, but
Thank
on the bigger picture, you had to, Wendell.
Of course, because again, like when I would talk to her on the phone, and I mean, I knew she was there, right? But and there was a couple times too where I went to the house, and the last time I went to her house, it was totally different. Like she was just, she was very cheery. She was talking about stuff, and she wasn't really like, like she was. It was funny because I was talking to her about, the issues that I was having with my ex-girlfriend, right? And she was just like, you know what? She goes, just do you. And like she was just being very supportive. And she was like, I was like, wow, thanks, Auntie. Like, I never seen that side of her where she was actually engaged in the conversation and like giving me like good insights, which I already knew, but still, like she was participating. So now when I go there and I'm expecting the same thing, you know, I see like, she's very like lethargic, and she would keep saying, and I said, Auntie, I said, you said this already, I said, and then I realized that okay, she's going through this cycle where she keeps repeating herself. So I just like, oh really? So I pretended like just to help her, I pretended that, oh, like really, you didn't say, you never told me this, Auntie. And then my cousin, because he's just fed up with everything, right? Plus, another thing I noticed too is that, you know because like I said, she's the mother of one of the cousins that one of my close cousins that passed away. So there's pictures of her everywhere around the house. And my cousin, he's kind of like, I've we when we were sitting down, we went to this pub, and we were having drinks and just chatting, and I asked him, and I said, so cuz, like, do you ever think about Natasha, And then he's like, I don't want to talk about that. And I'm like, okay, because, every time we hang out, I'm expecting to hear that you're okay with this, If you need to talk about it, like I'm here. And he's like, no, I don't want to talk about this. I said, okay, fair enough. I'm not going to pry, right? I understand it's something very, very difficult for him to talk about, right? Because that's his sister, right?
He actually is locking it out. He doesn't want to deal with it at all.
And the thing that really bothers, well, hurts me actually, is that, if he doesn't want to talk about it, then that means that he hasn't dealt with it. And if he
He
hasn't dealt
hasn't
with it,
grieved yet,
that
because
means it's
somebody in their grieving, in a healthy grieving process, they are going to speak of the deceased. They are going to celebrate the deceased life, no matter what. Somebody who's in a healthy grieving or getting over healthy grief. You know what I'm saying? But like,
exactly what you're saying.
so on top of all of the stuff he's dealing with his mom,
Mhm.
oh boy, he lost his sister also.
Yeah.
And he has a family also that he's okay. And he's keeping it all together.
I haven't the biggest clue as to how he is, but I think I actually know. I lied. I know how he's dealing with it. So, just recently, which was pretty much the cherry on the Sunday. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to expose him or anything, but like, he was married for a very long time, and he just recently got separated. Like, they just decided, oh, this is not working, and they just threw it away, right? So I tried to talk to him about that too, like, did you try to work it out? Or like, this is a long time for you. Do you guys have three children together? Like, you're just gonna, you know? And he's like, oh, he goes, I'm just done with it. So I was just like, okay,
He's so overwhelmed with everything else that the marriage
he
can't,
is.
it's too much.
But he also, like, he works a lot, right? So, and
Yeah.
that's what he does now. He's just gonna keep working, 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 that to kind of occupy his mind with his job so that he doesn't have to think about other things. And I told him, and I
It's
said,
going to
because
backfire on him.
this is not a healthy way of dealing with things. Yes, I understand you want to make money, and yes, I understand you like your
He's
job and
not
your mom,
dealing with it. He's pushing it to the
but
side.
you got to deal with this stuff, man, because one day that lid is gonna pop off, and once that mixture explodes, you're a bomb is gonna explode, and you're not gonna be able to fix the damage that's done. You know.
That's very true.
And he's like, oh, he goes, don't worry, cuz he goes, I got it. I'm like, I'm like, no, cuz you don't. I'm trying to, like, no, cuz you don't have it under control. You may think you do, but you don't. Like, you need to understand that. And he's like, no, no, no. He goes, I got it, I got it. I'm like, okay, cuz, okay. Like, I don't like to push my cousin or talk to him in a way that he may feel, disrespected or whatever. Because every time we go out, like, he always takes care of everything, and I keep telling him, I'm like, cuz, I got this. He's like, no, 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 I got you, I got you. And I mean, it's out of love, and I get it. And also me and him, like, we always have, like, really good times together. And every time when I leave, he's like always so sad. And I think that's what it is. It's like when I hang out with him, I kind of take him away from what he's dealing with, kind of thing, right? So I kind of
Maybe you're the only one in his life that's showing him some real love right now.
I think that's probably what it is. Because even like his kids are like, and again, like, they're kind of, I don't want to say privileged, but they are spoiled. They are spoiled. So when they talk to, I see them, like, when they talk to their dad, it's always like, Dad, when are we gonna do this? Or Dad, look at this, and then something that he may have bought for them. He's like, oh, Dad, I learned how to do this, and he's like, okay. But I never hear them say, like, hey, Dad, thanks for helping me out with this, or thanks for supporting me, or, you know what, Dad, you're the best dad. I love you, da da da. And I pulled him aside, and I'm like, hey, little man. I said, how you doing? He's like, oh, good, good, good. I'm like, okay, so listen. I said, your dad is, your dad loves you, right? He's like, yeah, I do. And I'm like, okay, so why don't you tell him? And he's like, he gets into this, like, they're just so they're kind of cute, but kind of weird in the same sense. Like, when they're just kind of like, it's like, how can you not say to your
Because
parent,
if they weren't trained and conditioned to be like that, they won't be like that.
I guess. No, but I mean, like, my cousin. And this is the thing, because my cousin's with him all the time, and he seems like very loving and all that stuff. But I
Yeah, but
see
he's stressed out. He has so
stress
much to deal with.
is, and that's the
How
thing.
can you be bringing your best self to anything when you have that kind of plate full?
No, you're right. Because even like when I like when I see, like, and this happens all the time. I see, like, when he's talking with his kids, and he's like, you know, uh, his kid will come and ask him a question, and then he'd be like, "What do you mean?" Like, he's always, like, it's like almost like every single thing they ask of him annoys him, you know. And I go to and I say, "Cuz, like, you know, why are you so like, you know?" And he's like, "Oh, but it's just so annoying." I said, "Because that's your son, man. Like, you know, he's just asking you, you know, like just let it go, you know." And I see it, but that's exactly what it is. He's so overwhelmed with everything that's on his shoulders that, and I tell him, and I said, "Cuz, you know, you can't take all of this on by yourself, you know, like you."
Yeah, but he is. That's why those words won't sink in his head, because according to him, he is going to, and nothing's going to stop him. Even if it costs, now it's cost him his marriage. Okay?
I'm not
Put it
sure if
this way. Put it this
I'm
way.
not sure.
Wendell, I won't say it like it's in concrete, but I will say one thing. When you have lost a family member and you haven't dealt with it, you have huge responsibilities that are distracting you from your own healing. You have your hands full with now your mom who's very ill. You cannot fuel a healthy marriage unless the woman that he married was totally compassionate and understanding. Because that marriage, I'm sorry to say it, would not have fallen apart if your cousin would have had the right support he needed from years ago to get through all of this, because he's at the point now he's overwhelmed. So everything's too much. So when I know personally, I'll speak from my own experience, when things are just too much, everything irritates me. I can't be bothered. Just leave me alone. Everything's annoying to me. Even my dogs are fucking annoying when I'm at that point. But I love them totally. But hey, you're annoying me. Okay? When
Yeah,
there's
but
just too many things that you don't stop and look at and correct, it accumulates. And yes, whether we like to look at it or not, it affects every single aspect of our life.
yeah, no, I think you're right. And it's funny because I think like that stress in itself is um kind of a cancer causing stress, if you understand
Yes,
me.
the next thing is going to be his health. And I would like you to alert him to that, that no living organism can function under the stress that he's living for an extended period of time without eventually dying.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's what you know what, and it's tough. And I'm not telling you what to do because you know how to approach your cousin, but you better
No.
give him some hard talks like a good slap to wake him up if he's not hearing you.
Yeah. 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 I'm gonna go
Because
and
you know what, I'm sorry, we don't want to make another person cry, but sometimes we have to. And if
yeah.
you know what I mean, because it unlocks doors and it allows them to feel.
Oh
Because
yeah.
the minute that they break into that and they shed the tear, hey, that then they can flood the scene and then clean up and go on.
Oh, you're
Do you know what
absolutely
I
right.
mean? But we have to heal.
Yeah.
And
And it's funny.
we're under this impression that we can just handle everything and anything and not heal it and keep going. You can't. It
No.
makes you sick.
No. And it's funny because I've never now that you said that, I'm thinking and I was like, yeah, that's kind of true because I don't think I've ever seen one day or even heard of one day where he actually cried.
Okay, this is it. He has locked. Look,
Yeah.
we know with our training that our subconscious brain will lock away what it feels that we cannot deal with.
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
to protect us. So the more he keeps telling himself that, oh, I've got this, and convincing himself that he's going to go on without handling any of that,
Yeah.
he's either going to be faced with some severe health issues, a
Yeah.
heart attack, or fighting for his life in another way, because he's going to have a DEFCON to wake up. And
Yeah.
you knowing this, Wendell, intercept it.
Yeah.
And like I said, we don't want to be cruel and we don't want to be mean and we don't want to make people cry. Yes, but you also don't want to watch your cousin
Yeah.
explode or crumble or break from this stuff.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's really important that you have to address him with the severity of the love that you have for him.
Mm.
And that's how I like to see it, because a lot of people say, Toby, you're mean with your approach and you hurt people. I say, I don't try to, but I'll tell you something. If I have to slice that canvas on the outside by my words to open it up so that they can actually dump and feel, oh, I'm going to do it. Because they may be upset with me at that very moment, but later on in hindsight, they will know and realize that that was the best thing that could have ever happened to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy.
What time do you have, Wendell? I see you checking the time.
Yeah, I have like 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, well, listen, I'm really sorry that you had to go through that this weekend.
Oh, that's fine.
But
Thank
you
you.
know what? I'm glad you did,
Me too.
because
Absolutely.
it gives you an experience and it educated you and your being
Yep.
in ways that a book can't, if you understand what I mean.
I understand what you mean. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that this is going to be all to your benefit,
Mm-hmm.
because now you're going to also look at many different aspects of how to deal with your cousin where you maybe would have never. And it's severe now because you got to go in like a bomb and say, what?
Yeah.
Let's destroy all of this and pick up the pieces, because
Yeah.
that's what has to happen. He's barricaded himself so deeply to avoid that and all of the. No, no. That's why I call myself the disruptor, because when I see somebody in that kind of pain, I have to disrupt that. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, a lot of people view it as, Toby, you're very assertive and you're hard on them, because that mold and that needs to break, because they have to allow themselves to feel that will kill them eventually if they don't.
But you know what? Just to interject, but it's like this. It's like, you're like a tornado, right? So when you have your house set up a certain way, right? You have like your couch positioned a certain way, your kitchen table's positioned a certain way, and you're going through a certain cycle in your life. If someone was to come in and just totally ransack your house, and you're like, oh my gosh, and then you have to readjust when you put your stuff back together in a different way, you actually start thinking a different way. You actually start living a different way, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So
Yeah.
when you're saying that you're a disruptor, I don't see it as a disruptor. I see it more as a what do you call it? Like a house cleaning, you know?
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing. What I mean by disruptor is I'm a disruptor of program belief systems. That's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I like to disrupt unhealthy belief systems,
Yes,
because
that's
I
what.
had unhealthy belief systems for so long, Wendell, and
Mm-hmm.
it governed my life and my health and my everything.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I encourage you, because I know what you're made of. I sit out here with you every morning and I appreciate you. I appreciate your energy. I appreciate your insight. I appreciate our communications. And I know in my heart that everything on that side is going to be okay, because you're enlightened to what's going on right now. But also, too, I want you to understand, I'm really hoping that you don't take it on to your being also.
Oh
Like,
no,
understand the situation, cope with the
yeah.
situation, support the situation, but please do not let that situation rock your, oh, you being okay.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Because there's a
Absolutely.
lot of emotion that comes with you with your cousin right now.
Yeah.
So just a lot of self-care. Be gentle on yourself, please. Just a couple of reminders for you,
Mm,
because yeah,
absolutely.
that's hard to live. And you can't belittle that, because now you're starting your week
Mm-hmm. Mm,
going, oh, how can I help on top of all of my stuff?
mm-hmm.
You got to be kind and gentle to yourself right now, and
Yeah.
still put yourself first, please. Just a little reminder, because I send you love and light, my brother. And yes, you matter to me, okay?
Yeah. Right back at you. Thanks. Absolutely.
So I'll give you the floor to close up, because I know we've really much chatted, but you're out of time for the morning. But I want to tell you, like always, I really appreciate your presence and being out here, Wendell.
Thank you. So yeah. So to those watching, I kind of apologize to kind of take control over this situation with what I'm personally dealing with, but I'm sharing this with you just so that you guys can understand that, we all go through something similar to this, and just so that to give you an awareness as to how, you know, with the insight of Toby, that we can kind of figure out how to go about dealing with this in a positive and what's the word I'm looking for? Positive and human way, as opposed to
Yeah.
just dealing with it like she said, just taking it upon ourselves and trying to put all this weight on our shoulders to try to go and do what's best for your family or your friend or whatever. Sometimes you just kind of gotta still do you and acknowledge that issue or that matter on the side and not allow it to disrupt what's already going with you. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not a caring person, because obviously you're caring. What you're actually caring about is yourself. And that's what you should be doing. And anyways, you should be caring about yourself first. As long as you're okay, now you can take care of what is going on the side. So I appreciate you, Toby, for bringing that to my attention. I mean, I was already aware of that, but the fact that you amplify it, and now that we can actually get to share it with these people out here, it's good that people, because a lot of people are looking for something, right? They struggle the same way we all struggle. We're all
Yeah.
human. We all go through the same things, just in different ways,
Yeah.
and we handle it to the best of our ability. And if we don't know how to handle it, then we have to look outside for assistance or guidance or whatever to actually help us deal with that. So um, don't um, don't what's the word I'm looking for? Don't refuse somebody who's trying to help, right? Because a lot of us, we always have that thing where don't worry, I'm okay. No, you're you're not okay, right? So just own that. There's nothing wrong with being not okay. We're
That's
human,
right.
and we have this thing built inside of us where, especially the strong-minded individuals like us, who don't really depend on people or don't believe that we need other people to direct us in whatever we need to do. Always keep an open mind, because somebody may say something or show you something that you may think but you may never know until you see it in a different way. And once you see that in a different way, now you've opened up a different way of thinking, which is always the best therapy in anything that we do. There is more than one way to do one thing,
Hmm.
right? So I'll just leave it at that and just say, I wish everybody, got something out of this, because again, I felt like I was kind of being a little personal, bringing out my personal business out here. But I'm
That's
sure,
okay.
yeah, it's okay. I'm sharing because I know there's
Right.
other people in this same situation, and I'm hoping that my situation gives you an idea of how to deal with yours, or to give you some kind of direction as to how you can avoid getting to that point if you're getting close to that point in your situation, whatever that may be. So, wish everybody a good day. Thanks for joining us, and I'll pass it over to Toby.
Wendell, I want to take this opportunity to thank you this morning. Seriously, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for your insight. I'm grateful for the fact that you came out here this morning and you got personal. I'm grateful for that, because we all need to talk about what's going on with us.
Yeah.
And I am very, very honored that you took this opportunity to get it off your chest before you went out there and had to start your week.
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough for that, because that shows others also too. Listen, it doesn't matter what you're going through. And listen, we all go through stuff and we all need to talk about it. And there's no shame in it. And we can always help each other, you know? Guys out there, I want you guys to seriously look. This live, I feel, was very personal this morning, and it was heartfelt. And for Wendell to come out here and express what he had to witness this weekend and what he's going through is huge. Okay? But these are the things that we need to do. Okay? I look at him in a healthier light. Look at him. He can express what's going on. Communication is key. When you speak about things, they don't seem so hard. It's just the way it is. Okay? Wendell, I want to send your family extra love. and extra angels and extra support, because it is a rough time, and it's a rough time for everybody. Okay, because acceptance of it is extremely hard. Denial outweighs acceptance most of the time. So I want to send you guys extra love and extra comfort and extra support during this time. And I want it to be known that if you should ever need any extra support, or should any one of those members or parties that are involved need a neutral party who's not a part of the family, please direct them to me.
Okay, will do. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And from my heart, I will help. Okay? I want to wish you guys a great day. A couple of reminders quick, because Wendell's got to go to work. Guys, be grateful for your day. Love yourself no matter what. Love others no matter what. But put yourself first. You matter. You matter the most in your experience. You see a limit, get creative automatically. You see it, hey, an obstacle, it's an opportunity. No thinking in between. You see a setback, it's okay, pause, redirect, assess your stuff, because it's okay. You're the one that is governing your experience. Okay? Maneuver through it properly, but put yourself first. If you don't, you're no good to anybody else. I'm sorry to say it like that, but I'll drop it like that this morning. So be loving in all that you say and you do. Don't react, respond. Okay? Simple stuff. Get the most out of your week, okay? Set a high vibe. If any of you guys need help, because yes, there are troubled waters out there, reach out to us, right? Wendell, again, I appreciate you, and I send you extra love and support.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you as well.
All right. Love and light, Wendell. Have an awesome day, my brother. And set a high vibe. And I know you're going through some heartfelt stuff, so I want you to be extra gentle on you, please, today.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
All right? Because you matter too, eh? You matter the most in your experience. And I want to see you out here genuinely smiling again tomorrow morning. So take your day today to come back from that trauma, because that's traumatic, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right?
Thank you.
Love and light, my brother. Everybody out there, I love you all. Get the most out of your day. Love and light, my brother.
Right.
Peace.
Peace.